Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Conley and I am going to show you how to create this rustic farmhouse frame using Fusion paint. So the Fusion paint that I have here today is called Azure and Casement. Got these two colors here. And then we are going to finish it with the Fusion stain and enhancing oil, or finishing oil, sorry. And I'm going to show you how to turn this brand new frame into this rustic farmhouse looking frame. So this technique, after I show you how to use it, like it can be used at any time on any kind of wood surface. It works best definitely on raw wood because where we're using a stain with it, you want to be able to see that wood grain through it. So like I said, the process, I'm going to show you how to make the frame, and then in another video I'm going to show you how to make this chicken, and then you can put it all together to make this cool little chicken sign. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is get our wood frame. So you make sure that it is clear of any dust or dirt or anything like that. You can also, ding it up or put like marks in it and stuff to make it look really vintage. I didn't bother with that. I'm just going to use it the way it is. And so you're going to start with the Fusion paints. And this really bristly brush. So these are just really cheap little, very rough looking brushes. And what I did was I took chunks out of it with my scissors. I just cut chunks of it out because you want a really random kind of streak of paint on this project. I've got some masking tape to tape off the edges here. So when you are applying paint to the frame, as you can see, the frame is joined right there. What you kind of want to do is make it look like it's special to each piece of the frame. And when you're running the paint and you're going along there, you end up having streaks of lines of paint on this other piece, which should be going this way, because we're going to be painting with the grain of the wood. So to keep that from happening, I've got some masking tape, and I'm going to just tape off the edges here with a little bit of paper, just to help give me extra room. Oh, that's not long enough. So I'm going to put it a half on the paper and then right on this very edge, just following along where it was joined. I should probably use two of them. I have two edges, so I'm going to need to use two sides. And as you can tell by my hands, I was painting something red earlier, and I'm going to do another tutorial on that. I'm hoping that comes out as neat as I think it's going to in my head, but I guess we'll see. It's too much. All right, half and half. So half on the masking tape, half on the paper, and then I'm just going to follow the edge here where it joined. It's the same on this side. Half and half, and do the edge. Okay, so now with the paint, I'm just going to pour a little bit of the paint in the middle here. I shook it up really well, so it's really important to make sure that the paint is mixed well when you're using it. I'm going to pour out a little bit of it there. Always make sure that the edge of the bottle is clean as well. You don't want any of the paint drying on the inside. And then casement. Again, make sure you shake it up really well. I don't use a lot of the white on this. With this project, you can use as much or as little of each color as you like. I wanted to be more blue on it than white, but if you wanted to be a little bit more of the white, just use more white or less blue. Okay, I'm going to wipe that off my hands here. Make sure I know where that is. So I'm going to use this for the varnish. Okay, so basically I'm going to do what they call double dipping the brush. On one end I'm going to put some blue paint, and the other end I'm going to put some of that white paint. So again, it's all up to you how much of this you want to use. But basically, I'm just going to lightly brush across this like that. and add the white and the blue paint. If you flip the brush upside, like around the other way, you're going to get some white up the top and the blue on the bottom. And flip the other way, have the blue and the white. And you just go right to the very edges. Make sure you get right to the very edge of it as well. And again, you just put as much or as little of it as you want on. And don't forget that you've got the edge here as well to put some paint on. And the side as well. So I just put it on usually as quickly as I can. That way you're not playing with it. You're not mixing the colors. You really don't want the colors to mix. I'm going to reuse this paper. Put it on the edge here. Put it on the edge here. That way I give that side a little bit of time to dry. I'll do the opposite sides first. So this edge and then this edge. So again, just dipping the brush and just lightly going over it. Okay, so I know it doesn't look like much right now. I'll put my brush in the water to clean it. So basically that is all there is to it. You just kind of tickle it with paint, really, around the edges. You want them really really streaky, really random there. So you're just going to let this dry now. It says about an hour to let it dry. It'll fully cure in about 21 days, but for our project, all we need is for this to dry. That's the reason why I use the Fusion paint, is because it has that kind of built-in top coat. So when I go over the top of it with this stain, it won't actually absorb into the paint or darken the paint. The paint should stay its color here because it can't, the stain won't be able to soak in. If I used any other kind of acrylic paints, it would have just darkened and stained the paint that was already on here, and would have done like a reverse technique on it. So to speed up the video, I already pre-painted a picture frame, so that I just go right ahead now and stain it, and then I can just stain this one later. So I'll put that one aside. And I have this one here, so you can see it's already been pre-painted, and I am just going to apply the stain now. So again, what I did was I used a really bristly brush that I cut the bristles off this one as well, because I wanted it again like another kind of a streaky looking varnish on it, stain on it. So that's the brush. It's pretty random. I like to kind of flick in and pull out to get any kind of little extra fibers out of there. Okay, and I'm going to start with taping this off again, because when you do the streaks with the stain, you end up going right to the very edge again, and you're going to have a line this way. And it's the same thing with the stain. You want to follow along the grain lines of the picture frame. So I'll get this open and apply the stain. It's a really quick project. It only takes a few minutes to make it, and it only takes about an hour for everything to dry, and it's ready to go. So that's the really exciting part about using this paint as well, is that your project's ready in an hour. Okay, so the color is cappuccino, and I'm just going to dip my brush in it. I got my varnish remover. I thought I had some rubber gloves here with me, but it looks like I might have forgotten them. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to add some cappuccino stain to my blue and red and white hands. Right, so again, this is, I shook this up, I stirred it up really well, and now I'm just going to dip my brush in it and literally just paint it across the frame. And don't forget the inside of the picture frame. And the outside of the picture frame. This stuff starts to dry really quick, so you have to work with it really fast, so in small sections before it starts drying on you. And then I'm just going to take my cloth, an old rag, and wipe back the varnish or the stain. Wipe off all the excess. You can leave it on if you like. It depends on how dark you want this to look. But then I can go back and starting with these edges, and again, like I did with the paint earlier, is paint some streaks across it to darken it up in some, give us some lines. So kind of like this. Just pull it across like that, and leave that concentration of stain. Okay, so when you think you've got enough stain on your project, the last thing you can do is kind of add some random, wow, I got that stain everywhere. Okay, good thing I had that painting all the way over there. So the next thing you can do is sometimes like these old farmhouse frames, like they got little like spots on them, little dots. So all I did was I put some of the paint on my brush, and then I'm going to tap it, and it'll create like little spots on it. So these spots I want on purpose on my frame and not anywhere else on my desk. So this is a flicky kind of thing, I guess. It's going to get everywhere. Yeah, so I'm just going to tap it like this. So you can use your thumb if you want, but then, you know, you're going to get some stain all over yourself. But or you can just do this. You don't want too much because you'll get a big blob of color, and you don't want big ones. So just little spots here and there. I'm going to put my brush in a baggie. I'm going to use it again later. And that's it. That's how you create a rustic farmhouse looking style frame. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Just let me know. And I will be making more. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to paint the rooster. This rooster right here. I'm going to show you how to paint this guy. And when this frame dries in an hour, I can actually start assembling it, putting on the chicken wire and putting this guy on there too. So I'll give you another video, show you how to do that rooster. Thanks for watching.